Welcome to EasyMed. The topic today is your immune system to be or not to be. That is the question. If it is working properly, you have a very good life. If it is not working properly, you maybe die or become seriously ill. I'm Dr. Frank Weber. Let's get started. So, your immune system is comparable with your body's defense army. And there are different lines of defense, and I will explain the first line of defense now. You can compare it with a wall of a castle. If the wall is intact, it's very difficult to come in. Case 2 is that you have a laceration or a cut. Then it's quite easy to come into your body and harm the body. And then you have always to differentiate between an outer skin and an inner skin. The inner skin is inside the airways, inside the nose, inside the throat, inside your mouth, inside your lungs, or inside your digestive tract. There the bugs need a key. And if they have the right key, then they can unlock a gate and penetrate via a channel into the cell and destroy it, for example. So there are different kinds of attacks, and then your immune system has to defend yourself with a second defense line. I'm going to explain it now. So if there are intruders into your body has to react directly, and he is just starting as soon as possible to set fire into the enemy attack. He's sending bombers, so to speak, or starting the artillery firing into the enemy's attack. He has no time to think about it, to differentiate who is attacking me. He has to react very fast, because you have to calculate bacteria. They double in 20 minutes, and then they double again in 20 minutes, and again and again and again. And after 7 hours, you have more than 2 million bacteria out of one bacteria. So that is the reason why your body has to defend himself so fast. So now I'm explaining the second line of defense a little bit more in detail. And the first word, innate immune system. What does it mean, innate? Innate means you are born with it. So even young, newborn babies have a well-working innate immune system. They do not have to learn about it, they are born with it. And here in the lower part, you see 5 different kinds of cells. Let's start with the first one. Neutrophils. 70% from all the white blood defending cells are neutrophils, and they are the fastest cells you have in your defense force. If there is an attack, for example a smashed finger with a lot of bacteria, they just move as fast as possible to it and start killing the bacteria. And they have friends, natural killer cells, they do the same, or monocytes also. And then there come the macrophages. Macro means big, and phage to eat, and that is the biggest white blood cells, defending cells, and they eat everything they have to eat. Could be bacteria, could be viruses, could be fungi or whatsoever. Could be also waste of the metabolism of the cells. And then you need, of course, like every army needs a good communication, and the macrophages and the dendrite cells, they are also very good communicator, and they give information about the attackers, about the antigens. It's called antigens. Actually, that are proteins. They give information about the attacker to the headquarters, that the headquarters can start to prepare the counterattack with a third defense line. A clinical example, that's the inflammation, that the first response of your body against an attack, and there are 4 signs. You will get swelling if I take a hammer and smash the hammer full speed on my pointer. I will harm the first barrier, the first line of defense, that's the skin. And then you get 4 typical signs. You can't not move it anymore. Logical, because it's very painful, and pain is the second sign. You would feel a higher temperature. It's the third sign. And the 4th sign is a huge swelling, because inside the white blood cells, the defending cells, you have 2 kinds of cell types called mast cells and basophils, and they release histamine and serotonin, and that are chemical substances that you get a swelling. Okay, now I'm explaining the 3rd line of defense, and there are 2 typical cell types, T helper cells and B lymphocytes. And this in general are lymphocytes, and they are divided in these 2 big groups. It's the B lymphocytes. They produce antibodies against the enemy. And then we have T killer cells. They kill the attacker. And we have communicator. This is a T helper cells. And they have a huge database with all the known enemies. And we have effector cells. They give the information to other parts of the army, for example macrophages, to help, to counterattack. And in the body you have additionally a complement system. That is actually a super complicated system, but the main point is that this complement system detects enemies and gives this information to other instances. And they produce then antibodies that your body can defend itself. It takes a time, it takes maybe 4 days until the new antibodies are produced, and this first 4 days are the days where you feel miserable, running a temperature, having pain in the arms, in the joints, in the throat. You're lying just in the bed, you will not work, you can't work. But once the production of the new antibodies are on high level, then your body can succeed and win the fight against the intruder, and then you feel well. And the new antibody will be memorized by these memory cells. And if 1 year later the cell intruder will attack your body, the antibody production will explode at once. So there are a lot of antibodies, and it could easily be so that you are not feeling sick, because the 3rd line of defense is then working so fast, because they know the enemy, and so precisely that you will not become ill. If you get a vaccination, it's the same principle. Then your body, after the vaccination, knows which kind of antibody has to be produced against a special enemy, and you will not get sick. A very effective system. If the contact is new, it takes a while, but if you once had contact against this enemy, it will kill the enemy very nicely. The last part of the immune system, which I'm going to explain to you, is the lymphatic system. Actually, it's a system which is picking up the free water which is floating around cells and transporting it back again into the circulation, the blood circulation, with the heart in the middle and the lungs for the oxygenation. And the circulation system is a huge system, don't underestimate it. It's very long, with all the capillaries, a very small and fine blood vessel. It's so long, it's 2.5 times around the Earth. So it's a huge and long system. But still, the cells inside the body are not connected directly to the blood system. So if the blood is pumped around in the circulatory system, 90% is coming back, but 10% of the fluid inside the blood, the plasma, is pressed out and washed around the cells with all the important substances. Could be glucose, could be hormones, could be electrolytes, and with a quite complicated process, they are entering the cell via the membrane, the cell membrane, and there is also waste sent out of the cells, and this waste and other things, bacteria, viruses and so on, will be drained into the lymphatic system, the yellow system here, and pumped up again into the right heart. And this circulation is going on, and the lymphatic circulation with the lymphatic fluid is also going on and is washed around in the whole body. Nearly 100%, nearly every lymphocyte is not holding in the blood circulation. The lymphocyte is washed around in the whole body. It's picking up enemy cells. Inside the lymphatic circulation, there are lymph nodes. 600 lymph nodes are in the human body. And inside the lymph nodes that are filtering station, it's like the baggage control in the airport. If you want to enter the plane, the blood circulation, your luggage is checked, and this is going on the lymph nodes. There are killer cells, there are huge macrophages, there are antibodies, and so on and so on. And if you have an infection or a tumor or a huge inflammation, then the lymph nodes are getting bigger and bigger, and that is why we doctors check, for example, the neck lymph nodes, checking, okay, there's a big one, where's the inflammation going on? So that is very important for us as a diagnostic tool. Altogether belongs to the immune system, and I hope you get an overview. Let's start with the last picture. So the take-home message is actually we have to work to get a really good immune system. How can we do that? I will explain it in the next videos, which are coming soon. And I will also explain what you shouldn't do, because there are a lot of things which will weaken your immune system. And that is a decision between being in good shape and healthy, or maybe getting sick, even worse, maybe you have to die. With Victor for victory over all these bugs, stay healthy and safe. See you soon.